Okay, so let's go. I'm going to create a plane. Delete all the details. So I'm going to center it to the world 0. So right click and make sure everything's 0. You don't have to. I like doing it. Just make it a little bit thinner. Go to my top. Just a little bit. There are 2 ways to model. So I'm going to convert it to a poly. You model with edges, pressing 2 on the keyboard or the little triangle, edges or polys. You never model in anything else. In other words, you never shape your object in anything else. Reason being is if you want to shape it, you can go and move your verts, shape it around nicely, go crazy. You can use your edges. But if you need to add more detail, you will only work on edge mode or poly mode. So you'll grab an edge on the side, hold shift, duplicate. If you drag shift, it'll duplicate. As you can see, it added a row of detail there. It literally created a new face out of there. So you hold shift and create a new face. Okay. What open border is, you rarely use it unless you want to find an open edge. So in this case, the open edge is the whole outside border. If you hold shift and drag it down, it'll create a side, and you can see now the open edge is at the bottom. Okay, so now we created our little Lego piece. Let's move it up. So now I'm going to just turn it off, shift it up. Just keep adjusting, maybe make it a little bit thicker. There we go. Now we need more detail to cut out the little holes, so we're going to grab one edge. The difference between a ring and a loop. A ring, the edges run parallel to each other. So if you hold shift and select the one next to it, or any of the ones next to it, that's a ring. A loop are edges that run point to point, literally edge. So if there was another row next to it, like for example, let's grab this face over here and extrude it. If I double click this one, that's a loop. They run side to side. A ring runs parallel. Okay. So if I ask you if your edge loops are running well, these are your edge loops. Double click on it. Or double click on that one. That's an edge loop. That's also another edge loop. A ring is right next to each other. Okay. So let me just undo that so we can keep it down to simple. Okay. Now I'm going to grab all of these, a ring of it, and connect. Let's make it a 4 pieces. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we need to cut out a little hole, make little, let's say, little cylinders out of it. I'm going to chamfer it now, just to give it some thickness. There we go. What chamfer does now is if you grab, go into perspective mode. I'm going to pick one, for example. Double click will grab a loop. Chamfer makes this line into 2 or to 3 or whatever you want it to do. In this case, I've only wanted 1, but you can also add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go crazy. It just adds more detail between those 2 points. I want only 1 row. So I'm going to double click here, hold control, double click on each line, and it'll grab each loop. Chamfer it. Now we need a row of detail down in the middle again, so we're going to go click ring, connect once, only once, chamfer it, and now we've got little blocks to actually extrude out of. So we're going to grab that one, that one, that one, and that one. If you want to extrude these faces, let's go. We'll just save it quickly. If you want to extrude these faces, there are tools. You can extrude it. Generally, you will never use extrude or outline or inset because Bevel can do all those 3 in one tool. You will use bridge and flip. Okay, so if you bevel, the top one controls whether it goes into the object or out of the object. The bottom one controls the actual bevel, whether it bevels inwards or bevels outwards. Okay. The reason why I say you can use this for all of them, if you zero it out, there's an extrude. If you zero out the top one, there's an inset. What inset does is, let's go show you, is literally just insets the shape. So you can either go out or in. Okay. So in this case, I just use bevel for all 3 of them. So then we've done it, we just push it up. In this case, I want to create a Lego piece, so it just needs to be extruded. This might be too high, so let's bring it slightly down, out over there. Click the tick. If you want to continue doing the action, click the plus. As you notice, it will keep doing it. You can just bring it in, click the plus, adjust the bevel, click the plus, shift it in, click the plus, shift it out, whatever you need it to do, go crazy, have fun. Yeah. I'm going to undo that because we don't need it. I just need it to go straight up. Click the tick. And now if we do a smooth on this, it will break. And what I mean break is it's not entirely broken, it's we haven't given it enough detail. So if we smoothen it, it's going to literally smoothen very wonky. We need the straight corner, and we need this edge to be nice and crisp. So you go to your edge tool. Now you're using your edge tools to model. Grab this corner, that corner, any of the corners actually. I'm just grabbing the corners because that's what I can see. Click a ring. It'll select the whole ring around. We want this to have a sharp edge on the top and a sharp edge on the bottom, because at the moment it's very smooth. It's more like a, I don't know, bubble wrap versus an actual Lego piece. So we're going to connect twice. The top one gives you how much detail. So if we add 2 rows, for example, the middle one shifts it away from each other, and the bottom one shifts it up and down, or along the edges. So we're going to shift it up as close to the edge as possible. Now if we turn the smooth on, we already have a sharp top and a sharp connection at the bottom because we just added the detail. To fix these corner issues, once again, you can see there's no detail there. It's just that one row. So how smoothing works is it'll smoothen between that edge and that edge perfectly smooth. So if there's no detail running down the middle, you won't have any flat edge at all. So we grab the ring. I'm going to connect the bottom and the top the same as before, just this time I wanted it a bit closer. And now we're getting a straighter corner. The problem now is we need to run that detail that way as well. Otherwise it will not. It's running that way, we need to run it that way as well. So grab that edge this time, click ring. In this case I'm only going to connect once and straight to the right corner. And you can see now we're getting a nice little square in the corner here. And that's what you want. Do the same thing to the other side, because at the moment there isn't. Ring it, connect, and move it to the left this time. Okay. And now you can see it's getting a nice smooth edge. Okay, and that's one. That was one way of modeling it. There's no wrong way. There's just 2 different ways to model. There's poly modeling, which what we did now is literally model the faces outwards. What I'm going to do now is, if you need to grab a selection, let's say grab the top pieces of these pieces of the Lego. I want to grow it outwards. Literally grows out from that face to the bottom. I'm going to delete it so we can have open edges. Now if we grab the open edge, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the bottom one 6 open edges. That means they're not capped off, they're not closed. The other way to model is to grab an open edge, hold shift, once again duplicate it, shift it up. So grab all the open edges on the top, or Control A and Alt deselect the bottom, because that's the only difference. If you have a broken viewport like I have here, please just go to your perspective viewport, go Alt and just go to your front viewport or your left viewport. So Alt tab to bring in the working viewport. I'm going to shift it up, hold shift, and as you can see I'm creating new faces out of those. Once again, now we've created those edges, you can cap them. Cap literally closes off the tops. Okay. And now if we smoothen that, it will be broken again because we don't have any detail around the top. So we grab the corners again, or any corner really. Let's go grab those corners there. Click ring, and I'm going to connect it. Just make sure you don't miss one like I did. And say connect. You're going to connect twice and shift them apart. The previous one was 90, so we're going to shift it to 90 as well. Just remember those numbers if it's important to you. I like to remember them. There we go. That was 2 ways. You can extrude it, the faces, or you can extrude the edges. So you're working with edges or polys. So let's start with a simple plane again. And I'm going to make the plane perfectly 200 by 200. No detail. I'm going to hide everything else. I'm going to put it dead center. Right next to it I'm going to create another one. I'm going to convert them both to polys. This one I'm going to bevel it inward. So I'm going to grab that face and say bevel. I want to make it perfectly flat, bring it in slightly. So the top one made it flat, so I don't want any height, so I zeroed it out. This one shifts it in or out, so I'm going to shift it in about -30. That's one way to do it. On this one we're going to do the same method because we need some edges to work with, and we're going to go bevel, flatten it, -30. The difference now is I'm going to delete this inside face. Grab the inside face, and now I'm going to extrude it upwards. In this case, I'm going to extrude it 10, it's fine. This one I'm going to extrude. This time I don't have the... I can see if it's 10 down here. So that's where we're going to have to look. I'm going to say, okay, 10. It's not going to be exact science. So what we're going to do is just shift 10. Nope, 10, thank you. No. Okay, there's no way to do it. Hold it. Go to the front view. If you come in, just shift it down. This way you just shifted edges. You're not actually touching the polys or the faces or anything. Not a problem. I'm going to grab this one, and now I'm going to chamfer this, bevel this inwards again. So this time I'm going to push it up slightly so we have a little bit of a height. Grab the other one now. Grab that open edge. I'm going to go to the left viewport so I can see what I'm doing. Let's see if I've actually grabbed this selected an edge. There we go. Go to my left view. I'm going to hold shift, scale it up. You can see that now I need to scale it inwards. So grab your scale tool and scale it in. And now we've done the same action, two different ways. There's no right or wrong. If you're happy with it, you cap it. You're done. And if you want to make this one object now, you say, cool. Go and attach it. Literally grab the one next to it. At the moment, you can see there's a big gap between the two. If you need to fix those, there's two ways to do it. You can either, if you actually want to create a face between the two of them, you go and grab the opposite edge, this one, and then hold control, grab that one, and bridge. That's one way to do it. Or if you want to actually make that one mesh, you grab the top one, you go to weld, take the tolerance from 0.1, and you just pump it up until it actually welds. And you go weld, you've connected it. Let's say you want this detail exactly on the top and the bottom. So what we're going to do is go Control V to duplicate it, not as an instance. We're going to go to the mirror tool at the top. We want to mirror it in the Y, and then just shift it slightly down. And now we're going to attach this. Now we've got this one. We're going to make this into one mesh, but there's a big hole down the middle. As you can see, if you go Control A, there's multiple open edges. If you're lucky and you click bridge, it will work. It'll literally bridge between the two sides. And that was very lucky. If it doesn't work, you have to grab one at a time and bridge. Okay. Just keep going all the way around until you bridge. But if you're lucky, you just do what I did and grab the open edges, and if you really are lucky, it'll bridge them all together perfectly. Grab that one, bridge, grab, bridge. And if you've got an open edge, just grab your open edge and cap it. Now let's say you want these pieces to go right through to literally go from that end, and you want it to be a hole all the way through. But you wanted a bit of detail in the middle, so you're going to bevel it first. So you're going to kill the height, say I want the hole about that wide. Then you bridge again. Another way of bridging. Instead of bridging edges, now you're bridging faces. Literally telling this face in the top to become one with that one to become one with that one. And you cut out the holes of it, literally. Now I'm going to smoothen it, see what we can fix in the smooth. Yeah, that's not looking so great. It's too round. And it's once again because there's no detail running there. So first let's add detail horizontally. So we're going to grab this one, hold shift, pick the one directly next to it, it will grab the entire ring. Connect twice, add detail to the top and the bottom, push it across. You can see it's already getting a nice little ridge detail. If I undo it, you can see the difference versus afterwards. Control Y is a redo, except for on mine, my shortcuts are breaking, so just ignore it. Welcome. If I was you, I would rather install the 2013 version. It's less buggy. So now you've got the nice round. I just want these edges to be a little bit not so soft. So I'm going to add a little bit of a corner detail. So I'm going to double click over here. The only problem with this is if I chamfer this now to make that corner hard. So then let's just do that, chamfer it. You'll notice I lose the round edge. So I'm going to do something. Just deselect everything but that corner. Literally just that corner. And now I'm going to create a 5-sided object. Don't stress too much about it. And a triangle. You can see it over there. Don't stress too much. Let's see what it smoothens like. It's okay. Once again, do the other side. In this case, you just have to do half, literally all the way around. But let's do it again so we can actually watch it happen. Grab the corner, double click, actually I'm going to double click all of them and then deselect. Go to the top view, deselect everything from the top, and then you know you've got the sides only. Chamfer it once. Sorry, chamfer, not connect. Chamfer, and there we go. Let's fix these triangle issues because we will have them. I'm going to literally delete this face over here, that face in that little corner poly, and we're going to repair this because at the moment it's a little bit broken. Not that one. One right in the corner, the one that's going to be difficult to select. Thank you. And we're going to create it. So I'm going to grab this edge over here and bridge. Bridge. And now we've got another little quad in the corner, so I'm going to grab this little open edge and cap it. And let's see what we've got going here. Go to the top view and go to the bottom side, and let's just repair this a little bit because it's going to create some funny pinching. There we go. Okay, and now we've fixed the one side, we now need to fix the other side and go all the way through. We need to literally connect these two here, connect, and you have to carry it through. But in this case, actually we can probably get away with target welding this and making it 4 sides. There we go. Lucky us. You rarely get lucky unless you plan ahead. In this case I'm just winging it. There we go. As you can see, it's fine. Now we just need to add more detail. Just have to keep adding detail. Ring, add detail, but I'm not going to run through that right now. You can do it on your own. If you need, once again, this to be sharp again, because this is too bulby, or you need this one side inside edge here, double click on it, to be sharp and crisp, actually go and add the detail. So I'm going to only do it to the top half, and we're going to leave the bottom half. We're going to chamfer it. So we get a nice little crisp edge, so it's nothing. We just split it apart a little bit. I'm going to add one row of detail in the middle, so it can really be crisp. Let's turn it off, and you can see it's already nice and sharp there versus the little soft and, let's really smoothen it, bulby in the bottom. It'll be even more prominent if I decide, let's go make it sharp all the way through, and now I'm only going to do it to 1. So I'm going to chamfer it, and double click the base as well, chamfer it, and you'll see it from one side to the other. All you needed to do was add detail to the corners where you want detail. Where you don't want detail, you leave it. Okay. Let's scale this one down because it's way too big. Okay. Push it up above the ground. Okay. Let's hide the selection and carry on. I start everything. Get used to modeling from a plane because your character next month is going to be modeled, basic modeling in Max, and then finished off in Mudbox. Okay, so I'm going to zero this out, and now we're going to use both of them on one object. So I'm going to convert it to a poly. I'm going to say I want a row of detail, grab one edge, hold shift, create it, hold shift, create the next one. Just keep, hold shift, you'll create a new one, grab the new edge, hold shift, and then hold shift, and then, sorry, move it up. Remember, everything works in 3D. Never ever forget that you are always modeling in 3D, not just 2D. So I'm going to grab this edge here, that edge, and bridge it. Now we've got a beautiful big hole. We can grab it and say cap it, but you can instantly see that it's going to break. Let's turbo smooth it, because you want it to have that corner down and then straight down. At the moment, because there's no detail running from that direction, you won't get that. You can even see it in the viewport that it's creating this little broken mesh going on. So grab that point on the side, grab that one, and let's watch how it fixes it, and you connect it. It needs detail in order to actually know what it's doing with it. It's still smooth. It's probably still going to smoothen too soft. And then you go and add, let's go and cut out holes. If you want to extrude a couple of these on the outer edges, so you're going to extrude. Let's go and extrude as an example. Extrude only gives you one option, up or down. Okay. Then you got the drop down menu. If you ever extrude and you only, in this case, extruding by group works perfectly. That means it only extrudes in one direction. But if you needed to, for example, do a sphere, let's just deselect this and create a sphere. And you needed to extrude the top half. So let's simplify this a little bit down to 12 sides, convert it to a poly. And let's say I'm going to grab the top half and I want to give it some thickness or give it an edge or whatever you might need it to do. If you extrude it normally, It just extrudes it in one direction, in this case straight up. That doesn't help you at all. You need to extrude it by local normal, which you can see the difference already. Extrudes it and gives you that little bit of an edge. The two you'll be using a lot is extrude by local normal or by polygon. What polygon does is each face is extruded on its own. So if I beveled it, let's make it more obvious. You can go by polygon, flatten the faces. It does each face on its own. So if you were going to do a golf ball, for example, you would want each face to be on its own and to slightly go inwards, and you'd want the mesh not to go into a polar. You'd want more of a geosphere, but concept is there. Okay. Let's go back to this one. Let's grab add some more. Once again, add detail. If you want this to have detail, give it detail. Ring and say I want the bottom to be crisp, but the top still to be round. So go and connect it and say push the detail all the way to the bottom, and then see what the smooth does. And it's doing that. It's making it crisp at the bottom, round at the top. If you want this to be perfectly straight, in other words this edge also to be perfectly straight, once again grab it, click ring, add detail to the left side only. So connect it, slightly push it over, see what the smooth does. It's already giving it a nice pinch and at the bottom pinch, but then it still smooths off at the bottom here. Okay, if you really want it to smoothen off, if you want it to be perfectly crisp all the way around, then you just need to make sure you get detail ring connected once, this time to the top. Modeling is about starting with the bare minimum and keep adding. So if that's the corner of your helmet, just keep adding more, or your character's body, keep adding to it. Shape it down, hold shift, shape it down, bring it back to hold shift, pick one direction to move it in, because you don't want to by mistake move it everywhere, and if you're lucky it goes in the one direction, but generally it doesn't. There we go. See what the smooth does and just keep working at it. If this is your final model and you want to add some cut details, like let's say it's a beautiful helmet and there's a nice cut down the middle, you can use extrude. Extrude works slightly different on edges. What it does is it splits it apart like a chamfer and extrudes a line down the middle. So if you go to extrude, you can see it chamfers it, it moves it across and adds detail down the middle that you can push in or out. Okay, in this case I want to actually get rid of all this detail before I do that, because if you look around the corners and I extrude it, it breaks it. That's because there's just too much detail in the beginning. So I'm going to quickly just remove this detail and put it back in afterwards. Control backspace till it removes it. Well, if it doesn't, there we go, it should. Double click on this edge again and let's quickly go and extrude it, then add the detail back in. I don't want it to be that wide and I don't want it to be that deep either. So let's just push it slightly out. And at the moment it might be very soft. As you can see, it's very soft. Once again, go and add detail where you want it. So grab this edge, double click. Just keep adding detail. In this case, I'm going to chamfer these edges and split them apart slightly. Maybe not that far apart. So just click the button until you're happy with the distance. There we go. And now at least that edge will be nice and sharp. Then we go add the detail back in. Remember, don't keep adding detail like I did and then you go, oh, but I want to add a cut. Be smart, add them when you need it. See what the turbo smooth calls for. See what the turbo smooth wants, because it sounds weird, but if the smooth is trying to smoothen it, that you don't want that result, then add the detail like I'm now. I want it to be hard on the top and hard on the bottom. Okay. So just go add more detail. If you need to cut out a hole in this thing, let's say right down on the side, hide unselected, I just want to hide everything else. You want to cut a hole out of there, so go and bevel. Give it a bit of an edge. Click plus, push it inwards. Height-wise. And if you want to, you can push it all the way in. It will smoothen funny again, because you haven't given it enough detail. Go and ring it. And connect. Everything can use this method from, well, everything, literally. I'm going to connect it once, but not all the way to the edge, just on the inside lip. So make it one, use the bottom slider to shift as close to that edge as possible without destroying it, and there we go. You'll notice how much smooth you need. That's not smooth enough because you can still see it's a little bit low poly, so just pump it up until you're happy with the smooth. There we go. And that's why in this case I'd say viewport too smooth, render times 4. Because in the viewport it looks fine, but at the render time it renders smooth. Okay. You only have technically next week and the week after to finish this, and then on the final week you will be sitting with it and I'll show you how to present it. So use your smooth, and you'll notice you can adjust it to shape it any way you need it to. Grab your vert. Now you can grab your verts and go crazy, shape it, do whatever you want. If you want the corner to go higher and that to go lower, go check in your perspective and see how weird it looks. If it's not what you want, go grab the verts back down and say, but I want those corners down. Grab those corners. Grab one axis at a time, because otherwise you're going to be dragging it in every different direction and you'll break it. Let's say you want it like that. You want that as well, so you grab those inside there, grab all of them and move them back. Okay. Let's say you think cool, but then you want a hard edge. Just go into it, literally just go crazy. See what they do. Ring it. I want to add a row of detail right next to that hole to make it sharp. So go and connect it. Once, push it as hard and tight as possible in there. The same on that side, go and ring. Because I want it to be, let's just leave the other side normal, and you can see it's already starting to give it that sharpness. No, it's not quite there, I'm not happy with it. Go and add another row of detail in the middle. So grab it, ring it, connect once. The more detail in there, the sharper it will become, as you can see. The harder that edge will look compared to the soft side. But I don't want it on the other side because we already got the cut panel, so it looks like they complement each other. And if you really want to see what it looks like at the final smooth, go and put it on and go, oh, that's not looking too bad. And that's how you'll add ridge, but that stuff comes at the end. Please don't add that stuff in the beginning unless you really want to. If your goal is to model a car, then cover all the panels first, then worry about cutting out the petrol cap or the little details. Those are not that important. Let's just delete this and scale this down. I'm just going to scale it down with the scale tool. Go up. Be careful you don't scale in one direction like I just did and break it. And move across. Remember, you only model with edges. So if you want this edge to extend, double click on it, hold shift. If you want something coming out of it, grab a poly and extrude it. Okay. If you need to shape it, use your scale, move it, whatever you need it to do, shift it along, rotate it, move it back up. Whatever you need it to do, use the edge tool and the poly tool to build, and you can move it with the verts, whatever you want. That's up to you. But please learn to model. When you're doing your character, you are going to have very little time to do. You're going to have 8 weeks to finish your entire character from max to mudbox and back again to unwrap it. So just remember that. This is not like doing the hard surface is cool and it's very hard, but the character will be a little bit trickier because most of you might want to design your own characters or bring in something stylized, and stylized does not always mean it's easier. As I'm sure most of you noticed, you grab something easy and you think it's easy and then you realize, oh crap, it's actually pretty hard. Like I keep saying as a joke, do a soccer ball. It's not that